Hi guys, it's Kayla here with another process video today. Today I'm going to use the TSK Elena and BPK Clear kits. I took a little break. You might notice my last lot of videos were from product focus, so I'm back to using the kits again, and I'm going to mix things up a little and do an 8.5 by 11 inch layout. So I'm just going to put this on a white base, and I originally cut this to 8.5 by 11 and then decided that I wanted a paper to board around it, so I ended up trimming it down a little. The only full piece of paper I had left, apart from that specialty paper big enough to cut to 8.5 by 11, was this brush stroke paper, so I went with that. If I'd had my time over again, I probably would have cut out the middle. I think that's probably a little bit wasteful, but I was sort of in a weird scrapbooking mood today. I wasn't sort of thinking as I was scrapbooking, I was just going for it, and sometimes that can make for some interesting scrapbooking decisions. So anyway, I'm somewhat happy with the result. I mean, this is not a normal Kayla scrapbook page, but I think it's good to mix things up every once in a while anyway, so I'm fine with that. I've just added a little bit of double-sided tape to the back of this white cardstock, and I'm not too worried about having it like insanely stuck down because I'm going to sew around the edges. I have my machine loaded up with this turquoise thread that I used in my Clearly Bold process video, but I kept it in because I knew that I was going to add pops of blue anyway. Once again, if I had my time over, I probably would have reloaded it with white. Not because I don't like it, but more so because I was hoping for more of a subtle look. However, I'm still happy with the result, so I probably shouldn't dwell over it too much, but yeah, I probably would have changed that. I'm just adding 2 lines of stitching just for something a little bit more whimsical, so it wasn't so straight and trying to be perfect. I was purposely moving the paper as I went. I've got pretty good at stitching on paper. It doesn't take too much practice to be able to get used to doing it. I mean, I did a brilliant class with, and I'm totally forgetting her name now, it's been a very long time since Scrapbook Convention or Scrapbook Expo in Brisbane, and I did this class back, it would have been like 6-7 years ago. Yeah, and when we did this class, we sewed around the edges of a lot of trees and lots of smaller intense stitching. But anyway, I got pretty good at it after then. So now I'm using some Georgia Peach Heidi Swap Colour Shine to add some mist dots to the layout. I mixed up a little because normally I would use my Black Velvet mist, as most would know, but I wanted something a little bit softer for this layout. And now I'm doing my layering, and the reason I'm doing this sort of off the layout is because that Colour Shine is a little bit of a different consistency to the Black Velvet, and it takes a little bit longer to dry because it's kind of bubbled. So I wanted to work on my layers while that sort of had time to dry a little bit. So I used some vellum and then some of this gorgeous floral paper around the edges, and just sort of laid up about 4 different papers in the end, I think, and then finished with some more vellum. So I'm using some of this specialty gold foil cardstock from the Journey line, and I only wanted a touch of this because I thought it was a lot more bold than the other softer patterns, so I only added a tiny sliver of this around the edges, and then I sort of placed that over the top and then realised I wanted to add some more vellum, and I knew that I was going to add that Heidi Swap watercolour tag as well, which is another texture because it is a beautiful watercolour paper, like a thick watercolour paper texture, so that's also fun to add as well. Now I'm adding another layer of vellum at this point, and I make this layer a little bit thicker because it can help to soften the edges. And then I think I smush a bit of the Heidi Swap Colour Shine at this point, but it doesn't bother me too much. So now I've got that Heidi Swap lace, and I'm just cutting a small length there, which I'm going to put down. And then I think so that I don't have to move everything and stick it down because I have used the mist and it's still drying. I end up using my Tim Holtz tiny attacher to attach all my layers and the lace down to the layout so that I just don't have to move everything, because sometimes that can be really painful. I also had this gold thread which I just recently bought the other day, and I've just sort of piled up some in a tangle just to put there in the corner. It adds another element, another texture, something to look at, so I really like how that turned out. Now I think I'm just playing around and seeing what will work. I have these, of course, Citrus Bliss foam word title things, and I knew that I wanted to use one because they're just gorgeous and they work so well with this kind of layout because they are that pretty soft feminine type of feel. And this picture, I don't think I've mentioned it yet, I think this picture is from my first birthday, and so it's like 25 years old. And it was fun to scrapbook because my son is now 1.5, so it's cool to look at and kind of compare. I mean, we have, I think, very similar features. He's got the dark eyes, the dark hair, dark skin like me, but his father does as well. But I think he pulls some similarities from me, which is fun to look at. So now I've pulled a phrase stamp from my stash. I think this particular one is a Chamel one, and I think I picked one that said remember when, and I've just stamped that there just for something a little bit extra. And now I'm trying to pick a title, so I ended up going with hello. I just really liked the script and I liked the placement there, and then I repeated that like kind of colouring and texture up there by adding one of the little hearts. I must admit, I found these alpha thickers really hard to work with. They're not particularly my style. But I think they go with the Citrus Bliss range, but I'm a fan of everything else but just not the thickers. They did spell out one very well, and it did stand out, which was nice because this was my first birthday, so I wanted that to stand out. I also used some of the Maggie Holmes confetti word stickers, which were a part of a previous kit, I think. And now I'm just finding embellishments that'll work. So I've got some of these enamel dots. I think maybe I didn't add a butterfly. I'm not sure now. The butterflies were harder to use than the enamel dots, but that's pretty expected. I had these travel stickers which went with the PLK kit, but I used the word wonder because I thought that would be appropriate for this layout. And now I'm just going to add some more embellishments. I've got a wood veneer heart, one of the gold glittered hearts that comes with the kit. I used some glue to adhere some, and then a stapler, my tiny attacher, to add some other bits of the embellishments. And then I found these label stickers, and I was trying to make it work in there. I ended up putting it beside where I was going to put it, and then just that gave me a spot to write a little bit about my first birthday. Not that I remember my first birthday, but I put in some memories. Oh, gross, you get to see my bed hair. Yeah, I had a pajama day today. So just what I thought about this photo, pretty much. That I look happy and content and I had a good upbringing. So I'm happy to document those things because I think that's important. And I wish my mum had been a scrapbook. I know I've said that before, but I would love to have known what this time was like. She tells me some pretty intense stories. I mean, I think I gave her hell when I was a baby. She used to say that it was payback when Elijah had colic, because apparently I was a really colicky baby as well. But yeah, it's nice to sort of look back and see. I'm really glad that the task of doing Elijah's first birthday album is almost complete, because it means that I've got his life from his first year documented, and he can look back on that and see the journey that we went through for that first year, which, I mean, you can't tell a new parent what that journey is going to feel like and be like until they've been there and experienced it themselves. Anyway, I hope you've really enjoyed this layout, and I'll be back again to share some more. But thanks for watching. Bye.